100 World War II veterans are back in Wisconsin this morning after they completed the trip of a lifetime overnight. They traveled to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Northeast Wisconsin's Old Glory Honor Flight, and Fox 11's Mark Leland took the journey with them, and he is in the studio to tell us all about it. How was it? Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell us all about it.
Back, it was a whirlwind trip because they did this all in one day. And so, to put it in the veterans' words, it was truly an amazing trip.
I bet.
Something they're going to remember their lifetime, and they say even take to their grave with them because it was just so memorable. The veterans, there were 99 World War II veterans, 98 men,
okay,
1 woman.
Oh, really?
On the trip. And the intent was to say thank you to them for their service. The National Honor Flight program is designed to bring these World War II veterans to see their memorial here in Washington, D.C. Now, the war ended back in the 40s, but the memorial wasn't built until 6 years ago. That's when it opened to the public. So the mission is to get as many World War II veterans out there to see it before they're gone. Those on the trip yesterday ranged in age from 84 to 96. The trip locally is put on by the Old Glory Honor Flight program, and it's completely free to the veterans. But I must tell you, while seeing the memorial is an important part of the program to these veterans, make no mistake, the purpose of this trip is to say thank you to these veterans. And this is video of their arrival when they arrived at Dulles International Airport in Washington yesterday morning. At the airport, where a local Honor Flight ground crew welcomed them. They had flags, cheering, hugs, some music, and that's when the tears from some of these veterans started to flow. Many said that this was actually the most rewarding and most amazing part of the trip. And they received a similar hero's welcome last night when they arrived back home at Allegheny County Airport.
It was awesome. There's only one way to describe it. Awesome. What a turnout. What a turnout of people. Yes.
But I appreciate what these guys did for us, and what the World War II veterans in particular did for us is nothing short of save this country from disaster. And I appreciate that, and this is my way of saying thanks, and there's a lot of people that are doing this along with me that feel the same way.
Well, how emotional.
Wasn't that nice?
Yes.
You know, when they returned home from the war back in the 40s, they just, it wasn't a big celebration coming home.
They didn't get this.
I mean, they had a big, you know, we won the war, it's over kind of thing, but they came home and they went back to work. I mean, they had jobs to do, families to attend to, and so there wasn't a big celebration of welcome home. They get it all the time, but nothing like this.
It actually seemed more emotional at the airport when they arrived there than it did at the memorial itself. Yes. You were telling me during the break before we went on that they do something special during the flight,
During the flight. Oh, coming home. You know, this is a long day. These are old gentlemen, and the woman, I mean, in their 80s and 90s.
They're exhausted.
Exhausted. They're on the plane home, and they do a mail call. Just like in the, Army, I'm sure, around the barracks, mail call, and they all come around. And they start calling out their names and delivering these envelopes that they had their family members and friends and other acquaintances write letters and thank yous.
So they actually had mail to hand out.
And they're opening the letters, and some are like, I can't, it's too emotional. They just didn't want to do it. Then they're bringing it home. Others read it on the plane, but it was truly a touching part of the story.
And a fantastic opportunity for them. And do they make more flights throughout the year?
They are. They're going to, this is the second flight that they've done. The first this year, the actual first one was last year. They're going to make 3 more flights this year. They have 500 World War II veterans on the waiting list from Northeast Wisconsin and the surrounding areas that want to go on the trip. It's completely free to them. They're making 3 more flights this year. The next one's June 1st and then 2 more this fall. So they're going to try and get as many on as quickly as they can, to make this dream come true for all of them.
Absolutely. You must be exhausted too. You got in late last night. What's your takeaway from this? What will you remember the most?
I think it was just, the heartfelt, they were so appreciative. Here, the purpose of this is to thank them for their service. I mean, they did a great job in World War II. But they wanted to, every time we thanked them, they wanted to thank, the people and the volunteers that were there with them. About 50 Guardians went along to help them along on this trip. Also the volunteers and the fundraising effort from Old Glory that paid for this trip was completely free to all the veterans. So
Such a feel-good story.
They wanted to thank. Of course, we're going to have more coming up.
I was going to say, when is your full story on this? We want to see more.
Tonight at 5 and 9, we're going to have much more. On the trip itself, kind of a whirlwind wrap-up of the entire trip. And then coming up actually in May, early May and sometime in May, I don't have the dates yet, but we're going to do a series of reports on this.
Oh, okay.
Show all the different things, including that mail call and things like that, and personal, emotional stories from some of the individual veterans too. I mean, there are such stories to tell. I mean, these are great, you know, gentlemen, and we talked to the single woman who was on the trip as well, and so we're going to have that. We're going to have a complete half-hour special report sometime in May, so be sure to look forward to that.
First things first, though, tonight at 5 and 9.
5 and 9.
It's like they lived a lifetime in one day.
They
like
did.
Reliving
They
things
did.
and then being in that moment must have been something.
Yes, I think they, like he said, it was an amazing trip. They were, I mean, they were speechless at the end of this. I'm sure they're exhausted, but
and they're talking about it
well.
today, though, I
Yes,
bet, too.
yes.
Mark, thanks so much for
Sure
coming
thing.
on and telling us about it. We'll watch for your stories tonight,
All right,
5 and
great.
9. You can also find more information on our website, fox11online.com.